All right, y'all. So this is the pre-market prep and for today's trading session that will open today at 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's look at what happened last week. I'm going to do a quick trading recap for last week. And then I'll jump into any red and orange folder news that could potentially impact the market today, as well as any standard news that could impact today's trading session. And then I'll jump into my trading strategy for today and get prepared for the market open in the next hour and a half. All right. All right. So coming until today, if we take a quick glance at what I did last week. So last week was pretty good. If I zoom in here for you guys on TikTok, so um, I had one red day and then two green days. So overall, for the week, I closed out last week at a gain of 2,200, so a little bit over 2,200. Took my time. Just a quick recap. I took my time. I was patient. I was diligent. I stuck to my plan or my trading strategy. I stuck to I didn't do so well with my stop loss limit in the beginning, especially on the 8th. But I did kind of slip up a little bit on the 10th as well. Fortunately, I did come out green that day because um, I did do some other things correctly that allowed me to still walk away with a green day. All right. So, like I said, overall for the week, I'm up 2,200, a little bit over 2,200. Um, the week prior, the first week of July was a green week as well, but because of the loss on the third, I only walked away with $12.60 gain. So far I'm up a little over $2,200 for the month. All right. Last month, obviously, I ended the month um, up 5,500. So I'm doing really well so far. So all I have to do is just stick to the strategy, execute it to the letter, and we'll see how this week goes, and then obviously the rest of the month. And I'll continue to report that to, be 1,000% transparent to bring you guys behind the veil of day trading, so you can see the ups, the downs, and everything in between. All right, so that's it for the quick trade recap for last week. Let's go ahead and jump into any red and orange folder news coming until today. Like I said, for anyone who's jumping in on Instagram and TikTok, well, especially TikTok, the view is a little bit skewed because I'm filming from my mobile device. But I'll work on setting it up to where you guys can see the screen more clearly from a streaming platform. So I'm trying to stream all the social media platforms from one source so everyone can see it clearly. Um, with that said, we're checking out red and orange folder news that could impact the market coming in the trading session coming until today. So it looks like, let me do a quick refresh here because that's last week, Friday. So we did have some orange folder news coming in at 2 a.m. Let's see, and we have some more orange folder news happening again at 9. So that's in 2 hours. Um, so nothing too major, it looks like. So we'll see how the news that drops at 9 a.m. The orange folder news that drops at 9 a.m. We'll see how that impacts the market once we're actually started the trading session, because obviously the trading session will begin at 8:30. So 30 minutes into the session, we'll see how that impacts the market. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so let's check out what Tesla's doing so far. Again, I primarily focus on Tesla. I am trading the Mag 7 as well as semiconductors. Um, that's my primary focus. So my primary target is Tesla, and then my second and third targets will be other stocks like Nvidia or AMD or something like that. Like I said, the Mag 7, Meta, Microsoft, and other tech companies. But let's look at Tesla. It looks like Tesla is up 1.15% today. Friday we closed at 313.51. Interestingly, I didn't expect Tesla to do what it did. I was not able to capture. Friday could have been a $3,000 to $5,000 day for me. The reason why I was not able to get into or execute that trade to get that gain is because Thinkorswim went down. And I thought it was just on my side, but I was trading live with my mentor, and everyone who was in the Discord community, my mentor's Discord community, had reported that those who had Thinkorswim could not enter or execute a trade. So Thinkorswim was down on Friday during the beginning, so I could not execute the trade. How do I know I would have made 3 to 5 grand? Because I did execute a paper trade, which was working for Thinkorswim, but the live trading with real money was not working for Thinkorswim Friday. So because of how much I gained during the paper trade, that's how much I know I missed out on. Eventually, Thinkorswim did come back online for live trading a bit later in the day. So I did execute a simple trade, which netted me a little over $200 minus fees. So I was like, yo, I'm just going to execute a quick trade, give me a quick sniper trade, and make a couple of $100 so I could use that to enjoy my weekend, check out some movies that just came out on in this week, and then treat myself to a couple of nice meals eating out. So, and that's exactly what I did and enjoyed my weekend. So, we'll take a look at any news that could potentially impact Tesla coming into the market session today. All right, so let's take a quick look here. Let me do a quick refresh. All right, so why do we just real quick for those of you guys that's joining that's new, that's potentially interested in day trading or investing in stock options, and there's different aspects of day trading, right? You could day trade stock options, you could day trade futures, and you could day trade forex, which is the currency of the world, right? The different currencies in the world that participate in the market. So I focus primarily on stock options. I do have separate brokerage account for futures and forex, and I have my AI bots running for forex, and that's doing decent. It's averaging between 2.5 to 5% per month, and I started back in October of 2024. Before the new year began. So it's doing decent, right? That's primarily set up for long term for me. But anyway, so what we do is I check out news that could potentially impact my trade today. So with stocks like Tesla, especially, obviously, any type of tweet from Elon or Trump could impact what happens in the market session today. So that's why it's important to check out what news is already launched or dropped, and then to have a reliable source to kind of keep your ear to the streets for what might happen during the actual session, because a sharp drop could impact your um, a sharp drop or increase could impact your trade depending on which direction you were trading in. So what I'm doing right now is taking a look at the news section of TradingView, which is TradingView is the platform I use to perform my technical analysis. So they do offer this news section for any ticker. You can get specific news for a particular ticker, right? So right here, obviously, I'm checking out Tesla, and this is only news specific to Tesla. Okay, so far, let me see. Did I do a quick refresh? So far, we only got a couple of things. It looks like that was recent within the last 30 minutes. Tesla to face first ever jury trial over fatal autopilot crash in Florida. So let's take a quick look to see if there was any impact to Tesla so far coming into the market today. Looks like we didn't have any drops, but we did gap up. So we'll see when the market opens. Typically, when this type of news drop, it was already factored in previously, like either the previous day or the previous week. But we'll keep an eye out when the market opens to see if anything drastic happens, like if any institution decides to sell. Since we don't see any right now in the pre-market and everything is, it looks like buyers are really stepping in aggressively because we have some sharp increases. Um, in the pre-market session. So I don't expect the stock to do too much towards the downside. But let's check out and see if there's any other news here. I'm just going to do a quick skim. Elon Musk floats a new source of funding for XAI. These stocks are moving. Chinese automaker boosts Saudi presence after Tesla launch. Okay, so we'll keep an eye out on that as well. Tesla stock rises. Musk companies had a busy weekend. Let's take a look and see what this says real quick. Over the weekend, the Wall Street Journal reported that SpaceX, Elon Musk's rocket company, had invested $2 billion in XAI. Keep an eye out on this if you decide to continue to invest in Tesla, because what Tesla's transitioning over to is a tech company, not a EV automaker. So from an EV automaker to a tech company, and they are already diversified, right? Because portion of their business is in energy. Okay, so we have over 10% in energy, the rest is automotive, right? So they're adding another arm or leg to their business, which is AI, and also data. So those are the two things that Musk is working on. So we'll keep an eye out on that. So that's pretty huge. We'll see. I think that's probably why you can see why we have some movement here. So we'll see what happens if buyers can continue to step in aggressively and push the stock price higher. Either way, whether the price goes up or down, as a day trader trading stock options, I make money either way. Like Friday, or excuse me, not Friday. Let me go back to my journal. Thursday, I made, this is, as you can see, I don't know how clearly, let me zoom in for those on TikTok. But for on TikTok, you can see I made, actually entered 6 trades, and one of which was a trade to the downside. All right. And I made $500 on that. The rest were calls to the upside or positions to the upside. So I made 500 on to the downside, and then the rest I made towards the upside. So with day trading options, you can make money either way. So it doesn't really matter to me which direction the price goes. I can make money either way. All right. So getting back to the news, that's something I'll keep an eye out today to see if there's if buyers start to continue to step in aggressively to push the price higher. Let's see, anything else? I'm gonna just do a quick skim over some other news and see if there's anything we should take note of. Musk says he does not support merger between Tesla and XAI. Oh, Elon Musk said on Monday, which is today. I don't know why they phrase it this way. I don't know, but between his electric and his artificial AI startup, XAI, which owns the Grok chatbot and competes with the likes of OpenAI, in response to a user post on X that asked Tesla investors if they supported a merger between the two companies. Musk has said he would ask Tesla shareholders to vote whether Tesla can invest in XAI, after earlier saying it would be great if Tesla could do so. Yeah, did not immediately respond. Okay, cool. In June, XAI had been in talks to raise money at a valuation of more than 120 billion. Interesting. All right, so you can see um, Musk is the man when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, I'm not sure why he's focused so much on the politic aspect of it, but I'm pretty sure time will tell what's going on with that. So coming into today, I don't really see much else because let's see, Tesla Circle, robo taxi commercialization, likely still a long way off. China likely to take lead on robo taxis. Let's check this out real quick. After this, then I'll go ahead and proceed with discussing my strategy coming into the market session today. And then I'll call it a day and get prepared for the open in another hour and 10 minutes. All right, China will likely lead on robotaxis given the current pace of rollout, adoption, and acceptance in the market. HSBC, Global Market Research Analyst, write in a note. So the market penetration of vehicles with higher autonomous driving functions was 17% in 2024. Let's see, I don't see, where's Tesla? Better acceptance of autonomous, blah, blah, blah. The US is likely to be the next market to follow. Okay. The states that allow self. Oh, okay. They're just saying that which market is actually supporting robo taxis. Okay. So the US was expected to be next in line. All right, cool. So that's it for today. Like I said, we do have some orange folder news coming a bit later after the market opens at 9 a.m. So this is Central Standard Time. That's 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. All right. So coming into today, here's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to continue to focus on Tesla. Obviously, this is my primary investment option. All right. Like I said, I do trade the other stocks if I don't see anything for Tesla for today. But I don't rush into a trade. But the primary or the second and third and fourth, fifth, sixth options are the Mag 7, which include companies like Microsoft or Meta or Apple, things of that nature. And then also the semiconductors, which is like NVIDIA or AMD. Okay, so those are just to name a few. So coming into today, here's what I'd like to see. Given the fact that we are, oops, let me pull this down just a little bit. Let me see, check on Zoom if you guys can see this clearly. Trying to position the phone so you can, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit, maybe. Yeah, that's as good as I can get. But I'll draw it out to make sure you guys can see. So you should be able to see my drawings. So here you can see we have two, with this yellow zone here, these two yellow lines that you can see on TikTok. Other social medias, obviously, you can see this more clearly. But on TikTok, just note these two yellow lines here. That's very clear to see on the TikTok side of things of the stream. All right, so we are closer to the pre-market high. This is the pre-market high, and this is the pre-market low. Essentially, what I'm looking for is the reaction off of these two zones, right? These two pricing zones. All right, right now we're closer to the pre-market high. So what I'd be checking for at the market open is the reaction off of this key pricing zone, which is 317.82. If likely two things could happen, right? At the open, we could start off really aggressive, buyers stepping in really aggressively and pushing the price higher. The next key pricing zone that I have is this orange line at 322.55. So if buyers come in aggressively, step in aggressively and push the price higher, what I'd be checking for is the retest back to this pricing zone, right? Okay, to see if buyers hold this zone, okay? If buyers hold this zone and continue to step in aggressively, then what I'd be looking for is to step into a trade for continuation toward the upside. Like I said, which is the next level I have is 322.55. Okay, this is that key level. So the two things that I look for is if I redraw this line here, if buyers hold this key pricing zone 317.82, I'd be looking to step in here in a position for two things. I got two levels, right? High of day, which is this level here, before we pulled back to the retest zone. And then beyond that, the second level is the 322. So that's the orange line that I have marked out here. So that's what I'd be looking for coming until today, right? If At the open, this is the second thing that could take place, is at the open, we could start out consolidating, see the reaction off of this key zone and kind of reject off of that level, right? Toward the downside. If we do that, then again, same thing, just in reverse. What I'd be checking for is the retest back to this key pricing zone. Okay. If sellers hold this pricing zone and continue to step in aggressively with weak price action and continue to push the stock price lower, then I'll be looking to enter a trade position toward the downside. Okay, same thing. And we got two levels here. We have low of day, and then the next key level will be the pre-market low, which is 313.38, which is this yellow line here. Okay, so if sellers step in aggressively with weak price action and continue to push the price lower, the first level where I'll be looking to take profit or to scale out of my position is at low of day, which is currently right here where I drew out this line again. All right, so what does that look like? That means if I take a position of, let's say, $10,000, and that includes 10 contracts, what I'd be looking to do is to scale out of that position, maybe 25 to 50% of that position. Why do we do that? Why is it necessary to scale out at these different target levels? Because the stock at any point can reverse, and that allows you to secure profit, either suffer, through a slight loss or a break even if the stock begins to reverse and work against you. So what would that look like? So if we took profit here at this key zone here, um, the price could continue to push this way, but let's say news drop, Elon tweets something against Musk, or excuse me, Elon tweets something against Trump, and then all of a sudden sellers aggressively sell off the stock. We could have a sharp decline back to this retest zone here. Okay, it may not come close, it may touch, it may break above it, or it just may come close to it. Either way, there could be a sharp reaction back towards this key level. If you didn't take profit at the low of day, which is what I marked out here, then you could suffer a complete loss, right? Because you got in here, if the stock dropped aggressively against you, then you could suffer a loss, right? You get stopped out because now you've broke below your entry point. Okay, so that's what you want to guard against. So once you hit that first key level, you want to scale out. You can scale out 25%, 50%, 75%, or the majority of your position, which is like 90%. Okay, or even 95. So if that's 10 contracts, then you can scale out of, two, three, five, seven, or eight or nine contracts. But what you want to do is you want to leave trailing contracts, right? If the trade is still working in your favor. So let me reverse this a little bit. So just to recap, to show you what that looks like, this is our first target, and then this would be this yellow line here for TikTok. This will be our second target. Okay. So once we enter the trade, all right, here's where we would look to take profit. Boom, we hit that first level. Next level is here. So we scaled out, let's say, for example, we scaled out 50% of the position. Cool. So now the stock is continuing to work in our favor. Now we hit this first target, or the second target, which is the second yellow line, 313.38. Boom, you can scale out of some more of your position again. So let's say we scaled out of 50% of our position at low of day, and then at the second target, we scaled out of another 25 positions, or 25% of the position. So all in all, we've scaled out of 75%. That means we have 25% of the position still trailing. This is how you can exponentially make more money. Okay, because if the stock continues to work in your favor and we start to go towards these next key levels, and this is what happened Friday, y'all. I'm telling you, this was like crazy. Like when it happens, man, it's like a wonderful, beautiful feeling, man. I mean, you get like super excited because you're just constantly watching the numbers just scale exponentially. Like your profit is just jumping. So that contract, that one contract would properly cost, let's say, for example, I'm just doing this for simplicity's sake, $100. At this level is probably now worth you've probably already hit 100% of that initial contract of $100, which means, um, or excuse me, not 100%, 200%, which means uh, not only did your position, your initial investment was $100, but now you've made $200. Okay. So that's what, and you start to see if it continues to work in your favor, man, it just keeps on growing. So it goes from 200, then 225, then 250, then 300, and it just keeps growing. And imagine if this continues toward the next day and you held this position. This is the most important part. You guys need to understand why you see traders on social media saying, I made X amount of money, whether it's 10,000 or 5,000 or 20,000 or 100,000. It's because they've left trailing positions, and those trailing contracts that they left from the initial uh, trade started to grow exponentially. And when it happens, like I said, it's a beautiful feeling. So anyway, that's what I'll be looking at coming into today. Here's what else could happen. Like we said, we did look at some news that could potentially drive the price lower. For us, doesn't matter because, like I said, we can make money either direction. But what could happen is we could drop aggressively toward the downside, right? At the open. And what that would looks like is an aggressive drop or a sell-off by the larger institutions and organizations that are invested in Tesla. Okay. And what I'd be looking for if that happens is a reaction off of this pre-market low, which is again 313.38. Okay. What I'd be looking for is to see if sellers continue to sell off and if we remain heavy, okay, below that key level. If we continue, then what I'd be checking for is two things: either a retest back to this zone here, like I mentioned earlier, or continuation toward the previous day low, which is 305. Okay. I don't expect us to reach 305 today, but that can happen. Okay. So you just need to be prepared either way. If we stay heavy and reach the previous day low, again, we check the reaction and we rinse and repeat the same thing. Will we stay heavy or will we use this as a level of support and will buyers step in aggressively and continue to push the price up, from this point? So either way, that's the same thing. It's simple, guys. We rinse and repeat any direction. We break above some key level, wait for a retest back to that key level. If buyers step in toward the upside to push the price higher, then we step into that position. We look to take or scale out of the trade at high of day, and then we look to reach the next target if that in fact happens. If the trade begins to reverse, then we scale out of the trade or we exit the trade completely. Same thing toward the downside, right? Either direction, we rinse and repeat the same strategy. This is why I said day trading, learning the strategy or any particular strategy is very simple, and making or becoming a profitable trader is very simple. Here's the reason why traders don't profit or succeed is because of these key reasons here. One, they don't have money management skills, so they have poor money management skills. Secondly, they lack self-control and discipline. What does that look like in terms of trading? Well, if you're not paying attention to what you're doing and you have this anxiety because you just want to enter trades and you're just focused on making money versus learning the strategy and focusing on trades that are that match your particular strategy, what people tend to do is they enter trades. Let's say they lose, you pay like $500 for your first trade. You end up losing that $500. Then what people say is, oh man, I lost $500, and they jump into more trades to try to get that $500 back. Well, what ends up happening is because now they're what's called revenge trading. Now they're jumping into another trade just to get back the $500 that they got back or that they lost, and then they end up losing $1,500, and it creates a vicious cycle, and that's why a lot of traders end up losing. So what's key? Let me show you guys in my before I wrap up this pre-market prep session. Let me show you real time what that looks like. Okay, using my day trading journal from last week. Okay, my strategy is simple. Well, it's not really my strategy. It's just a strategy I use. I didn't create this strategy. This is a strategy that I learned from my two mentors. It's called the breakout and retest strategy. Obviously, I've already demonstrated that in the pre-market previously, right? So I just showed you guys what that looks like. Breakout above some key level or below some key level, and then we wait for a retest back to that level. We wait for price action to see if buyers are stepping in or if sellers are stepping in. That's important. That's the second condition of the strategy. If either of those step in, then we look to take a trade towards that direction. Okay. Once that happens, now the third and final thing that we're doing is looking to scale out of the position. Okay. If the trade continues to work in our favor, then we scale out as we hit those different key levels or price targets. Okay. And then we try to keep running trailing contracts left to keep growing our investment, right? Exponentially. Eventually, we'll exit the trade completely, but that's pretty much the gist of the strategy, right? Now, you can enter a trade and it could begin to work against you right away. So, what is your protection against that happening? Well, we call that this aspect of the strategy your stop loss limit. Okay. Stop loss limit. What does that mean? This is the point where you realize the trade is not working against you. Maybe you had the correct setup. You looked at everything. You followed your strategy to the letter. The trade just didn't work out. It's no fault of your own. That just happens. You're not going to win 100% of your trade. So what you do is you already have a predetermined stop loss limit. For me, my predetermined stop loss limit is 3 to 4% of the total position. Okay, so what does that look like? Well, if you have $100, I'm just going to use simple math. If you have $100, 10% of that $100 is $10, right? So what is 1%? Well, 1% would be $1. So 3 to 4% of $100 position would be $3 to $4. That means if the trade begins to work against me and I'm starting to lose money, the moment I get to that point of -3 or -4, I'm exiting the trade. Now you can do this mentally. What I mean is you could be watching the screen during the trade, and it'll show you as your profit or losses is moving right in real time. So once you see that happening, you can and you get to that point where it's reaching your stop loss limit, you can go ahead and click to exit that trade, right? Or the second option, which is the most safest and most reliable, and it prevents you from leaning so much on your own your own mindset or psychology to be like, well, maybe it might work out. And so you stay in a little bit longer than what you should do. But you can enter the stop loss limit through the system itself and say, hey, at 3 to 4%, get me out. Okay. So that's a more reliable and safer way if you lack, self control and discipline, and you feel like you might kind of stay in the trade a little bit longer than what you need to do. So let me show you what that looks like for me because I did stay in some trades last week a little bit longer than what I needed to be or to remain in. And again, my target is 3 to 4% on a loss, on a losing trade. Now, notice this is the trade that I took July 10th for Tesla. And you can see, let me zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in for TikTok. Can you guys see that? So this here is 11.67%. So I didn't stick to my guns. All right. I didn't stick to my stop loss limit. And I ended up losing more than what I was supposed to. Okay. That's why I'm telling y'all. So there were some things I did wrong within my strategy that could have caused me to have a red day yesterday. The only thing that offset the red day is because I did some other things right, which is also part of my strategy, and it worked out in my favor. But that doesn't always happen. And I can show you that in my trading journal. It doesn't always happen. So you can't expect to recover every single time like I did this day to walk away with a $2,200 profit. The next thing I did was I stayed in this one, 15%, right? Which was a loss of $186. Okay. Same thing here, 10, almost 10%. So that's why I trade and record my trades in my journal so I can look back and reflect on this constantly and say, hey, look, man, you have to do better. You can't stay in these trades beyond your stop loss limit. You got to exit. Simple as that. You got to exit. So that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, you can drop me a DM on the social media platforms. Those of you who are on TikTok, you can DM me. Those of you who are on IG during this live stream, you can DM me. And those of you on YouTube, you can direct message me as well, or drop a comment in the comment section. Also, the second option is you can direct message me for an invite to my free Discord if you want to chat with me in real time. Okay, so those are the two options that you have. Anything else? I might I might do go live for the market open today, so you guys can check out my mentor in real time, and I'll periodically step in to explain some things that I feel like you know needs to be explained from what I've learned from them already. All right. I did that Friday and I think that went well. A lot of people did respond well to that. And I think a lot of people like that. So I think I'll do that. I might do that today. But again, like I said last week, my primary focus is doing that on every Friday. I feel like it might be a distraction if I try to do that every day. And I feel like that might impact my psychology when trading, and I don't want to impact my psychology negatively, and that start impacting my trades negatively. So, with that said, I might do it today. So just stay on the lookout. If I do, you'll see that in the next 50 minutes. So at 8:30, like I said, that's when the market opens. 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. All right. All right, y'all. So it's your man Ace. We'll see what happens this week. I'm looking forward to this week. Last week I closed it out very strong. Nice closeout. So far doing well. I'm in the green this month, as well as last month. I made over $5,000 last month, and I'm already up 2,200 this month. So we'll see how this month ends. And like I said, I'll continue to keep you guys abreast on what I'm doing and what I'm learning for those of you who are interested. And I'll continue to take you behind the veil of day trading so you can see, um, everything from the ups and the downs. All right. I want to be 1000% transparent. All right. So it's your man Ace. I'm dropping the mic right here. Till next session. Every day the pre-market prep is at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern. All right. So if you're interested in tuning in, 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern. Okay. And again, if I go live during the market with my mentor, then that will be 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. All right. Till next video, I'll see you. Check you guys out tomorrow. All right. I'm out.